Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Hey, thanks for joining us on today's video. Anyway, 78 Corvette, 25th anniversary. You know, these cars are still, I don't know, they just still have great style. They're very popular here for us. They're one of our best moving cars. And the reason why I think is because, first off, they're not ridiculously priced. They're not $50, $70, $100, $150,000, you know. A car like this sells right around $16,000, and when I run down the list of things that have been done to the car, you couldn't possibly do what we've done to this car or purchase it from the previous owner for what you'd have to invest in it just to get it here today. So, for instance, like we just had the entire car painted front to back, had the correct two-tone put on, which I just think is a car and a color combination that's kind of really weathered the test of time. The style is still great with the long front end, the short back. And you definitely know that this is a Corvette going down the road. Even people who aren't into cars would notice right away that clearly this is something special, it's vintage, and what have you. And we've kind of done as best as we can to keep it stock. Now we have we're right in the middle of leaving it or changing it. And if you decide to get this car, you just have to tell me what you want to do. But we left things like the 25th anniversary here badge on the car, okay? And obviously we talked about the two-tone paint. But for instance, I wanted to show you the quality of the paint, because this is kind of cool. We're under the fluorescent lights. And look at how nice and clear you can read that. This is going to get one more wax, which will brighten it even more. And the reason why is because it's still a little soft. It's just been done. And a lot of this stuff is really nicely done. So we get one more wet sand kind of final buff and final detail, okay? I want to show you under the hood for a second, because now you have a choice. The choice is to either leave the car the way it is, because this motor here has been built a little bit. You know, these did not have a whole lot of horsepower back in '78, and this one here has been upgraded really nicely. So it's upgraded camshaft, headworks have been done, engine's been rebuilt, like all of those things have been done to the car, and it's really made a big difference on performance and things like that. So let's take a peek under here and we'll take a look. So here's kind of your choice at this point. We have the stock valve covers and stock air cleaner for this car, okay? And we can put that on and leave it on there. Or we can leave the chrome and the upgraded aluminum valve covers on here and leave it kind of a little bit more sporting looking. Up to you. We have both. Doesn't matter to me, but I'm happy to do either one, and I think it's nice. The one upgrade that you really can't see on this car, and for me, when I'm driving a car, especially if I like to cruise a car and I'm going to be in traffic and things like that, I like to make sure the car stays cool. Nothing's worse than overheating on a summer day while you know, you have a friend with you or whatever, and you have to pull over in your vintage car and get that done. Here, first off, they've sealed all of this around here, because these cars were known for not getting a lot of air in front of the radiator because of the styling. You know, the styling only leaves this tiny little opening, and I don't know if you know, but like for a lot of the cars here, they have to have the openings in the front end just to make sure that air gets to the engine. So although it's a styling treatment to work on the grille, it's also important that you have airflow through the car. In this case here, like we just talked about, they seal this all up here. Plus this has dual electric fans. So the entire radiator is covered with electric fans. So forget a belt breaking or maybe a fan not being big enough. This one here pulls a lot of air through. So it should be really nice no matter how hot it is there, just to cruise along and not have to hear that, especially with the upgraded engine. Transmission's been upgraded also, okay? The rear end, as you know, or may not know, is fully independent, and it came with posi-traction from the factory in 1978. So there's still some performance goodies in there. This car really goes down the road nicely, way more than your typical '78 Corvette, and I love the color. So let's take a second, we'll move into the interior and look at some of those details there. All right, you know, I like to come around the back of this because first off, you get this call out again for the 25th anniversary, but unmistakable styling. You know, I talked about it earlier. You know, when these cars roll down the road, everybody knows what it is. It doesn't matter if that emblem's not there, because the back of this car, it's never going to be a Chevette, it's never going to be a Camaro, it's not a Mustang. Everybody knows when this thing goes down the road, and I mean everybody, whether you love cars or not, knows that it's a Corvette. Just unmistakable styling with the pinched sides and the big exaggerated flares on the car. And like this right here, we try to keep the wheel stock. I love this wheel. I think it's a great looking wheel. And also you get to see the four-wheel disc brakes showing through the holes in there. This has an upgraded exhaust, so the engine has a lot more power. It makes a much better sound. I don't know, man, it's a pretty powerful car. And it's really a sleeper, because most '78 Corvettes were nice driving and comfortable, but this one, I mean, spanks on down the road. So we talked about style. like back in here, this is this cool piece of curved glass with the froster in it. Also has a tonneau cover inside, so you can put luggage, all kinds of things like that if you want to hide things back there. And if Justin can get in here for a second, we've taken the T-tops off. They come with bags, we can put them in the bags, but T-tops come off, which is nice because it gives you that kind of convertible look with some storage back here also, but the safety of having a full a body and roll cage because there's steel inside here to protect you. Okay. Interior is nice, all redone here in bone. We have the correct floor mats that are on the way. We had to order them, but they're on the way here. So here's your second choice about upgrades. We talked about the air cleaner and the valve covers. We have the stock gauge pod set. So what we could do is we could leave this here and put a clock here if you'd like, so that you'll have all that, okay? Because it's kind of cool the way it lights up in colors and whatever. Or we can just put the stock gauges back in also. This has the stock gauges up in here with tilt wheel. One thing also it does have too is telescopic steering wheel. Okay, 140 mile an hour speedometer, 7,000 RPM tach, power windows, power locks, T-tops, power disc brakes, power steering. These are actually really nice driving cars and have great interiors too. Believe it or not, this is a pretty nice driving and riding car because you have four-wheel independent suspension and they just sound great when they roll down the road too, especially this upgraded model. All right, how about we start this crazy engine car up? Well, it's not that crazy, but a little more than a regular 78 Corvette. I love to stand back here and look sometimes on a cold morning like we're doing right now and just watch each pulse of those cylinders when you have a high performance motor pump each thing out. Look how cool that looks. And sounds great. You know, in closing up, this is the case where more money was spent on this car than you actually have to pay for it now. And that's why this is really the only way to get one of these cars. You got to get a car that's ready to go today, that doesn't take 2 years to restore, that has fresh paint, a fresh drivetrain. You know, there's a real 25th anniversary. It's got great colors on it, from the, you know, the Oyster bucket seat interior to the tilt and the power windows and stuff like that. Just a cool car for not a gazillion dollars. So anyway, awesome car, a lot of fresh new stuff on it. Great driving. I think you could really enjoy this car. Call us 301-816-1000 and we'll tell you all about it.